everybody, today I'm going to do a side-by-side comparison video with two different half-inch pneumatic impact wrenches that are both made by Snap-on. I have their current MG725 and we'll be putting that up against the brand new PT850. In this video I'm going to give you some side-by-side comparisons of both of these. We'll go over all the different features and operation, and then we're going to do extensive torque testing using Skidmore-Wilhelms. With this equipment I'll be able to prove without a doubt what the forward and reverse working and dynamic torque ranges are, and you're going to see firsthand which one of these is more powerful. Here's a closer look at both impact wrenches side by side, and I do want to point out the construction on these is completely different. The MG725 has a magnesium housing which is painted, and the brand new PT850 actually has a composite housing, which means it's plastic and it's the same color all the way through except for the nose cone on the front. That is going to be a powder-coated metal surface, so you could eventually scratch that off, but it's not going to be extremely easy to do even if you do drag it across the ground. Now, as far as the MG725 and the PT850, they both have an option for a protective boot. If you want to keep them in very good condition long term, I would highly suggest using that with both of these. As far as the overall size and weight on them, you want to remember that the MG725 is going to be slightly bigger and it's going to weigh just a little bit more. Overall, it's coming in at 8 inches high, 7.5 inches long, and it's coming in at 2 3/4 inches wide. It weighs 5 pounds 1 ounce with a fitting installed, and the PT850 is slightly smaller. It's coming in at 7 3/4 inches high, 7 1/4 inches long, and it is slightly wider, coming in at just over 3 inches. The weight on it is a ½ pound less, coming in at 4 pounds 6 ounces. So if you're looking for the lightest gun between the two of these, the new composite version would definitely be the way to go. Both impact wrenches have a 1/2 inch hog ring or friction ring anvil, and they don't require any additional tools to press a pin in to install or remove sockets. All you'll have to do is line your impact socket up with the end of the anvil, click it into place, and then you can use it. And then when you're done using it with one hand, you can easily remove it. One of the biggest design changes with the new PT850 is how to change between the different power modes. And unlike the MG725, which has an all-in-one design, allowing you to rotate a knob left to right, switching between 3 different power modes, you can also easily change directions with that same mechanism. When you press it forward, it's going to put the tool in forward, and when you press it backwards, it's going to put the tool in reverse. The PT850 now has a large dial on the rear of the unit and has 4 distinct power modes, but they added a separate switch just above the trigger for changing the direction of the unit. Pressing it to the left will put the tool in forward, and pressing it to the right will put the tool in reverse. Both units have a rubber overmold grip and a variable speed trigger, but one thing to note would be the open design on the rear of the MG725 trigger. This could get jammed up with dust, dirt, or debris, but the PT850 has a completely enclosed trigger, and you should not have those same problems because nothing can physically get in behind it. Something to think about when we look at the torque testing with both of these, I do want to point out that the MG725 does have the muffler installed, which greatly reduces the overall decibel rating, and it doesn't give you a headache when you use it, and the brand new PT850 does not come with a muffler. So we're running these side by side using the same air lines and same air pressures, but the PT850 does not have a muffler, and the MG725 does. And finally, it is worth noting that these are both made in the USA, and they have the exact same 2-year warranty against manufacturer defects from Snap-on. If you have a problem with them during that time frame, and it's not an abuse situation, they should fix or replace them for you free of charge. Now to test the reverse working torque on each impact, I'll be using a Skidmore-Wilhelm Model R with a 1 1/4 inch bolt and a 2 inch nut. With this combination, I can accurately measure bolt tension in pounds up to 110,000. We'll take whatever the reading is, divide it by 70, and that's going to give us our torque rating. Now what I'll do are 3 runs with each impact, alternating impacts between each run. We're going to run them for 15 seconds apiece, and then we're going to take an average of those 3 runs, giving us our torque rating. To make sure we have extremely accurate results, I'll be changing out the lubrication on the back of the nut, on the washer face, as well as the threads, with a fresh coating of R-0050 test bolt lube from Skidmore-Wilhelm. And to ensure we have extremely accurate and consistent results, I'll also use a brand new SunX Model 264 impact socket. I want to thank Sunex for sending this over for our testing and making sure that we have extremely accurate results. Now for a forward working torque test, we're going to use a Skidmore Wilhelm Model M with a 1 1/4 inch bolt and a 2-inch nut. Using that same socket and going through the exact same procedures, we're going to run these side by side, and then we're going to see what the forward working torque is. Okay, we just got done with all of our working torque testing in both forward and reverse, and the numbers were very consistent with each impact. Starting out with the MG725, in reverse we had an average bolt tension rating of 71,333 pounds. Divide that by a factor of 70 because of the nut and bolt combination we're using, and its maximum reverse working torque after a 15-second run time is coming in at 1,019 foot-pounds. The PT850 was significantly less, coming in with an average of 65,667 pounds of bolt tension. Divide that by a factor of 70, and its maximum reverse working torque after a 15-second run time is 938 foot-pounds. In forward, the MG725 had an average bolt tension of 60,167. Divide that by a factor of 70, and its maximum forward working torque is 860 foot-pounds. And the PT850 had an average of 53,333 pounds of bolt tension. Divide that by a factor of 70, and its maximum forward working torque is coming in at 762 foot-pounds. Now to test the dynamic torque in both forward and reverse, or exactly how hard it's hitting with each impact of the anvil, we're also going to test the 725 against the 850 using an electronic Skidmore Wilhelm. This is a model T3000, and it can accurately measure torque up to 1,000 foot-pounds. Now the MG725 has 3 distinct modes. The PT850 has 4 distinct modes. I'll run through all the forward speeds and all the reverse speeds, and we'll see firsthand which one is hitting harder. Okay, we just got done with all the dynamic torque testing. You can see the numbers were fairly consistent in reverse with both impact wrenches, but we did see a noticeable difference in forward. The MG725 had a range of 325 foot-pounds on the low end, up to 421 foot-pounds. The PT850 had a range of 362 foot-pounds, up to 417 foot-pounds. Now remember that the PT850 does have 4 distinct speeds. The MG725 only has 3 distinct speeds. However, in reverse with both of them, the difference was very negligible whether you were in first, second, or third with the 725 or first through fourth with the 850. The range with the 725 was between 467 foot-pounds and 471 foot-pounds. The PT850 had a range of 464 foot-pounds up to the exact same 471 foot-pounds. So now you've seen a side-by-side comparison video with the brand new PT850 versus Snap-on's MG725. Now what was really interesting to me is the fact that the brand new version is actually less powerful than their older one in both forward and reverse. And if you're looking at upgrading an impact wrench and you already own an MG725, by buying one of these, you're going to be stepping down in power. Now, what I'd like to know is, what do you think of these impact wrenches? Do you own one or do you own both of them? What has your experience been, and have you had any problems out of them? Leave a comment below this video and let me and everybody else know about it. As they're researching the Snap-on impact wrenches, your comment might really help them out. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe. And thanks for watching.